Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students of grade 9. Today I'm gonna teach polynomials, its definition, its standard form, and how to work with polynomials. So actually polynomials are any expressions which consist many terms. So if it has one term we call monomial, if it has two terms we call binomial, three terms we call it trinomial, four or more we'll just simply call polynomials. When I mean to say terms, in this one it's a polynomial and it has how many terms? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a polynomial. If it had 3 we would have called it a trinomial. If it would have 2 we would call it a binomial, and if it was only this we would call it a monomial. It has one term. Now the highest exponent of that polynomial is called the degree. So in this case the exponents are these 3, 2, 1. There is no exponent, it's 0, right? So the highest exponent is called the degree of that polynomial. Okay, so this one only 7. If it was only this 7, it is called a constant because it does not have any variable with it and there is no exponent raised to that variable. Okay, so if we just say if it has x here, x to the power of 0 means x to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So a constant has a degree 0. Okay, so if the highest degree is 1 we call it a linear. If the highest degree is 2 we call it quadratic. If the highest degree is 3 we call it cubic, and if the highest degree is 4 we call it quartic, and if the highest degree is 5 we say 5-degree polynomial or binomial, depending on the number of terms. Okay, so let's define first a polynomial. It is an expression consisting of many terms. Okay, the standard form of a polynomial, it must be written in alphabetical order first. With the highest exponent first. The highest exponent is called the degree. D-E-G-R-E-E. Okay, so classify the following polynomials by degree and number of terms. Now what's the highest degree here? Because the variable next could be any variable a, b, c, and it could be 0, right? So a number without a variable means it's a constant. And the number of terms, how many terms it has? One term. It's only one term, so we call it a monomial. Now we have to use a degree, means the highest exponent, and the number of terms. So the degree means the highest exponent for this one is 1 here. Okay, so when it's 1 it's called a linear. Okay, so I'm gonna call it a linear. And how many terms are there? There is only one term. Product of a number and a variable is one term. Okay, so it's a linear monomial. This one, the highest degree for the exponent is, look throughout the expression, it's 1. So it's for the degree, if it's 1 it's called linear. And how many terms it has? 2 terms. So for 2 terms we call it a binomial. Okay, let's look at the next question. Question 4. We name it like our first name and last name. The first name uses the degrees and the last name uses the number of terms. So the degree is 2. So when the degree is 2, we call it quadratic. And how many terms are there? 1, 2, 3 terms. So we call it quadratic trinomial. Okay. This one is the highest degree is 3. So if the highest degree is 3, we call it a cubic. And 2 terms are here. So we will call it a cubic binomial. The last one is one highest degree, means the degree for this one is the highest exponent is 4. Actually, highest exponent is the degree, so I should call it a degree, or the highest exponent is 4. So when it's 4, we call it quartic. And how many terms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So if there are 4 or more terms, we call it a polynomial. So we will just call it a polynomial. Okay, write the following in standard form. Standard form is if there is only one variable, just use that, and make sure the other thing is to keep in consideration is to write the highest exponent first. Okay, so they just have x in it, so I'm gonna use the highest exponent term first. So I'm gonna write this first, 2x squared, and then comes this one. This is 2, this is exponent 1, and there is no one, so this one will be the last one. So after this term, I'm gonna write 3x, and the last one would be plus 1. Okay, so 2, 1, and then there is no exponent here. Then in this one, the highest exponent has this term. So I'm gonna write this as 7x cubed, and then is x squared. Their sign here is plus, so plus x, and then negative, plus x squared, then negative x, and then the last one would be plus 64. Good. Now let's do this one, because it has 2 variables in it, a and b. Now we'll choose alphabetical order. So we will go with the alphabetical order, right? And they have, so we will start with a, because a comes. So we will see a, and we will take with respect to a. Don't worry about b now. Just write with the descending order of the variable power of a. So a has the highest power here, so I'm gonna write a cubed, and then where is a2? This term has a2, right? A to the power of 2. So I'm gonna write this term, no matter, don't worry about the other variable, just go with the alphabetical order. Whatever comes first, choose that one first with the highest exponent. The next one is a to the power of 1. It's this one. And the last one is this one, because it does not have any a in it, right? Make sure you write all the terms in it. Now, what will be the name? It has 4 terms, so it's a polynomial, and the highest degree of this is 3. So I'm gonna call it as a cubic polynomial. This is also a cubic polynomial. This one is quadratic trinomial. Okay? Now for this one, alphabetical order, x comes first, so we'll take with x. X with the highest exponent is this, so I'm going to take this term first, negative x cubed, and then there is x squared term here, so I'm going to copy this, negative x squared y squared, and then after this I have in this one there is no x, and this one is a constant. So this will be taken first because it has a variable, and this one is without a variable. So we will write plus 5y cube plus 13. There is no x in it, and there is no variable. So the number without a variable, the term without a variable will be the last one. I hope you get the lesson. Inshallah. And then the next topic is adding and subtracting polynomials. Now when you are adding and subtracting polynomials, what we just have to do is to combine the like terms. Okay, and how do we know the like terms? When we do the like terms, in this question on page on homework number 1, we know classify the polynomials by degree and number of terms. So you have to write the degree first, comma the number of terms. In this, write the following polynomial in standard form. So make sure you start with the, if there are 2, you take the alphabetical order. If there is 1, just start with the highest degree and then go on degree, highest exponent, okay, not the coefficient. In this, find the sum and difference. We combine like terms. I'm going to do this question. So the so I'm going to combine x squared with x squared. We are adding them. So x squared plus 3x squared is 4x squared. Now negative 4x and negative 3x. Negative 3 plus negative 4 plus negative 3 is negative 7x. We are not adding the powers, we're just adding the coefficients. We're combining the like terms. Now 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2 as the final answer. And if I want to ask you to name this, the highest exponent is 2, so I'm going to call it if the highest exponent is 2, we call it quadratic. So it's a quadratic, and how many terms are there? 3. So we will call it as a quadratic trinomial. Now let's do one more question here, question number 17, so that everyone knows how it's working. So let's combine the like terms. So I'm going to combine 2x squared, this and this. So it would be 2x squared minus 1x squared is 1x squared plus 4x squared will give you 5x squared as a final term. Now we are going to combine the y squared term. So y squared terms are these terms. Make sure there's a sign, negative sign, minus sign here, so don't forget this operation. So 3y squared minus negative 1. So 3 minus negative 1 is 4. Okay, 4, and plus 3y squared. When you combine all these, we get y squared. Now the last is negative z squared minus negative z squared gives me 0. So we don't have to actually write it. So our final answer is 5x squared is y squared. Okay. Now subtract from. Make sure it's a flip, turnaround phrase. Remember? So you write this first minus this. Okay. I hope you understand this. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.